everybody, this is Marie, and welcome to Marie's Chatty Tarot. Today we are going to talk about um, the Trump and RFK Jr.'s alliance to create MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. Pretty cool, pretty awesome. Now, before we get started, I'm going to be using the Astro Matrix Tarot. It's a pretty cool deck. Love it. It I love using this deck. It's pretty awesome. Now, for a few days ago, um, uh, RFK was part of the Democrat ticket, long life Democrat. He was running as a presidential candidate opposing Joe Biden, then later Kamala Harris. But because of a lot of the funny business, uh, he was uh, he was kicked out of the party, literally kicked out. I'm not making this up. You will have to hear his speech that he did to explain why he's no longer he's suspending his campaign and what the Democrat Party, the left, the elites, the cabal have been doing to subvert or to use the law to prevent him from running. Because let's be honest, if he had a fair chance, if he was giving a fair chance, he would have been the nominee for the Democrat Party. But again, because of all those underhanded tactics, he was kicked out. And from my understanding, he even reached out to Kamala Harris administration to see if they can work out, if he can work in the administration to make a difference. Again, he was shut down. He was ignored. Oh my God. So reached out to Trump, and Trump, open arms, accepted uh, him coming to the fold, where they will create together some kind of a commission or some kind of a coalition of sort, where they will try to investigate, people's health, especially surrounding younger children. And if you have been following RFK during um, the pandemic, he was very adamant about the vaccine, shared a lot about Fauci and the funny business going on there. Again, he came out with the book. I haven't had a chance to read it, but I've seen a lot of his interviews, and you know, he's putting out facts, right? Especially if well, if you know, right? Or if you do that, done the research. But just all of this to prelude that yes, there is um, a cabal, and there is a group of people that do not want people to be healthy. That agenda, that depopulation agenda, is a thing. That there are a group of people that want people to be sick, because if you are sick, you are not of the right mind and body to make a right decision. You will always be swayed to a particular because you're not healthy, right? So they want people to be sick from the get go, and that's why they're pushing certain narrative towards children, because they want that child to be hooked on drugs, to be hooked on hormones, to be hooked on those um, suppressants. And we've seen individuals who have gone through the transition uh, uh, process and who have regretted it because they have to, in order to live, in order to have a productive life, or in order to just go out in the world to look somewhat decent, they have to put in intake so many medications. Again, all this on purpose. So there is a need to investigate uh, the pharmaceutical industry, the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. Oh my God, it is cabal control, because they're approving drugs left and right, or a lot of time not safe. I mean, we've seen what happened with that, I think, what Ozempic thing. I mean, again, there's so much to go with here, and that's a separate topic in of itself. But I want to bring it back So all of this to say that this feels like an alliance of sorts. This feels like an alliance between the old school Democrat and new school Democrat of sorts. Because remember, uh, RFK was considered old school Democrat, conservative, moderate, somewhat in their views as a Democrat. Because yes, believe it or not, there are conservative Democrats. The same way that there are uh, liberal Republicans. They're like more into the social stuff. So there is uh, nuances, right? So with that said, Trump was also a, a Democrat for a very long time. People forgot about that because Trump was born and raised in New York, to my understanding. He spent a lot of time, his family in New York. So again, if you know New York, it's very Democratic leaning. So he was a Democrat for the very greater part of his life until he decided to become president. He changed his mind in a lot of the liberal views that he had before, but he's still considered a moderate for a lot of people. If you don't look at his picture, if you don't know his name is on the ballot, but you just look at the issues, he is considered a moderate. Um, and again, he was also a Democrat. So I've never considered Trump and uh, RFK opposites. I've always thought that they were in the same camp. Probably just like Vivek was like a surrogate for Trump to introduce Trump to a younger audience, but with a different face, with a brown face. I feel like RFK was kind of like, another uh, surrogate to Trump, you know, and putting out truth, informing, educating the public about certain aspects of the pharmaceutical industry, the vax industry, so to wake up people. But I always feel like I always feel like they were one since the get go. Why? Because if JFK Jr. was very good friends with Donald Trump. If you know your history, if you lived in New York or you follow history or you cared or curious, Trump and RFK were very very close friends. So I'm never thought of them in any adversarial whatever. I mean, Trump would attack everybody, but he never said one bad thing about RFK, about his policy, or about nothing. So it's to show, anywho, that there was an alliance. So I feel like, you know, this alliance of RFK, of Tulsi Gabbard, of Vivek and Vance, and all of this group of people who at one point were not for the Trump camp, and now they are. Um, Suddenly, another story for another day. We're gonna breeze through that one because I wanna make this video as quick as possible, uh, and as short as possible. It looks like we're forming an alliance, and if you look at the crew drops, right, it always implied that there was an alliance that is uh, fighting or opposing the cabal. That is, so it feels like in a very this feels like a very watered down representation. It's as if this feels like oh my god, like either a nod or it feels like a signal that you know that that there's an alliance exists, that there is a group of people working together for the betterment of the country to fight, against. And it feels like this is like a watered down representation of what really is happening in the background. I hope that makes sense. So if you're new to the channel, you probably have no clue what I'm talking about. So if you're familiar with Q a bit, uh, and the PSYOP, the Q PSYOP, implies that there's a group of people uh, that are fighting the cabal, that are fighting child trafficking, that are trying to expose the truth. And this group of people I did a video about the alliance. It is worth your time to check it out. It is no longer on YouTube. It was eliminated. Oh my God, so fast. So you're gonna find it on Rumble and my other channels. So you will probably have to look at my description box on my Linktree site link where it would take you to my other platform, active platform, if you want to look for that particular video about the white hats and what they're about, how they became about. A very interesting video, and the fact that it was banned on YouTube, I think says a lot. So, further ado, the question, I'm thinking that this is a nod. This is kind of like an intro. This is a watered down version of what the alliance looked like. Different group of people from different backgrounds coming together because they're trying to fight the alliance, not the alliance, the cabal. So I feel like this um, Trump and RFK, Gabbard, Vince, and different group of people, questionable background, some of them more than most. If you know, you know. You may have to look at my Vince in my Vivek video to get a hint of what I'm talking about. And again, you're gonna have to take a look, listen to the Alliance White Hats video, and along with take a look at the Cabal videos as well, and it will give you a better idea. So different group of people, different background, uh, fighting the system, fighting the Matrix, fighting the Cabal. So it feels like it's a watered down representation. I think it's a nod, it's a signal for everybody to see. Um, because the true people in the background, they're not able to come out, but I think that's as far as they're willing to show the world in terms of coalition, in terms of alliance, right? Maybe later on, the ones in the shadows will come out, but I think this is as far as you're gonna get if you are into the post, right? So let's see what the cards wants to share about that. So MAHA, make America healthy again. I think this coalition is like a weak representation of the alliance, the true alliance in the background. So for those interested, I'm going to use the Machina sword spread. It's used a lot by Janine and uh, um, other tarot readers. I cannot. Sorry. Ten of Swords. It's the first card. Page of Sword. Situation. Um, Hangman. Recent past. It's the major arcana, the Hangman. Eight of Swords. Present. Four of Wands. Potential outcome. Knight of Cups, which is a clarifier card, so it's like an additional card just for added insight. Two of Swords. It's another clarifier. So the Hangman is the only card here that's a major arcana in the recent past. So that's interesting. So we're asking if this is a representation, like a watered down representation of the alliance in the background. And the card says it. Huh, Ten of Swords, and so or ten means the end uh, of something, and a sword is usually um, uh, truth, words, information, communication, knowledge. It's also So you see this person dead. So that to, I think that was a nod, not necessarily to the alliance existence, but it seems like to the death of the Democrats, the party itself, because the people who were waiting for the DNC to propose to have like a plan, an agenda to help the economy, inflation, they didn't get none of that. And I think a lot of people have seen that young lady who used to be a canvasser or case manager or something to that effect to the Democrat Party. She's from the Midwest. I forgot her name or her social media handle where she was talking about, being disappointed that the Democrats have become totally a super party, like super donor type of party, and that they don't really listen to the little people. So I think that was this alliance is a representation of the death of the Democrat Party. Wow, dinosaur is always very often means death for me. 10 is also ending, but that's it for them in terms of they lost their credibility, they lost their position, their power, they lost their standing. I mean, we can go on and on with the Democrats, especially last week. Uh, there was nothing productive that was said. There was no plan given. There was no. There was just only attacks, and I think a lot of people saw that. And because of this, the Knight of Cups right underneath it has a clarifier. It's saying that emotionally people are just moving moving away from the party because they're disillusioned with they're not offering anything substantial. In every relationship, talking shit can only get you so far because at one point you will have to deliver something. You will have to, you know, open the door for the lady. You have to be there for her. If she's sick, bring her soup. You know, uh, if you some reciprocity. It doesn't look like it's only talking shit. That's what it's all coming down to, right? So because of this, the Knight of Cups, you see that knight is moving away emotionally. They're distancing themselves emotionally from that party. And here's the kicker. So the page of sword is usually gossip in the window, or it's also it's a small pivot. It's news of sword, and um, so the news is the holdouts. They don't want to hear it. The holdouts, because CNN is sounding off the alarm along with other uh, leftist um, mainstream media outlets, because the writing is on the wall. They're putting it out there, but again, they're not. They don't want to accept it because the Two of Swords right underneath is saying that there's just always going to be a group of people. That's it for them. They don't want to see the truth. They don't want to see facts. They don't want to. They're like in the burning building. Oh yeah, everything is fine. Just sipping coffee as with no care in the world. That group will never see the light. And it's because they chose not to, right? They're making a choice here. They don't want to see the truth in one way or the other. They don't want to see Trump. They don't want to see how bad the Democrats, they just want to just stay in their bubble. So this is why this is saying, okay, this is so not, this is so cool. So the hang one, and this is a major arcana. The hang one is the hangman. You see this Buddhist or this monk upside down in a yoga position, uncomfortable, and during his discomfort, he's become enlightened. And I think that represents so much of us have become monks, right? A lot of us cannot go out to eat. We cannot go out, uh, 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 no entertainment whatsoever because you're diverting all your effort. We're diverting all out of our effort to just surviving, barely maintaining. right? Because you have bills to pay and everything is so expensive. Going out in a restaurant is luxury right now. So during that discomfort, a lot of people are becoming enlightened or coming to the realization that, goddamn, the truth, right? This party, the cabal, the leftists, the socialists, they have not been kind. They have, you know, destroyed, a lot of Trump's policy resolving to, being people being stuck, feeling stuck with that Eight of Swords. And so, but also, um, there's still going to be a group of people don't want to admit the truth, right? Because Eight of Swords is sometimes um, not want to be, not being stubborn, not being open to the truth, not limiting belief. This is what, if you want a card that represents limiting belief, is this card. And the song to associate with this card will be the Emancipation song by Redemption song by Bob Marley. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. So that's that card where your limited belief is truly keeping you in bondage. One's stubbornness sometimes can get can get in the way of them being successful. That type of, if you want a representation of that card, that's this card. This is the card. Your limiting belief is truly holding you back. So other people are just, they don't want to see it. Refuse to see it. They refuse to see the truth. Even though they're uncomfortable. They're in a bad position. Even though their wallets, their car, their gas tank, everything. Their fridge is telling you them a story, but they don't want to admit that the left policies have drove the economy to that point, have drove them to this situation. Anywho, whatever. But you get the idea. Uh, so, uh, nutshell, it's more to show that it's the ending of the Democrat Party, and uh, a lot of people have felt the pinch in the recent past, and been uncomfortable. Now, a small group of people, um, well, I guess a good chunk of people in the Democrat Party are feeling, or don't want to admit the truth. And I guess maybe they're getting some money on the side. Maybe they're getting, their livelihood is attached to being part of the party somehow. But it looks like eventually, with that Four of Wands, there's going to be a breakthrough of sorts. And so, Four of Wands is usually a card of celebration, but you're not at the celebration yet. You still have certain steps that needs to take place before you get to that celebration part. Because you see, it's kind of like a doorway that you have to go through in order to get there. So on the other end is beauty, is betterment, is togetherness. But right now, we're not there. There's certain steps that needs to take place before we get there. So basically, the card is saying that no, this is not a watered down, the Trump RFK is not a watered down alliance uh, uh, coalition. It's more like a show that the Democrats have are no longer. The Democrat Party is essentially died because so many people are moving away from it. So many people are leaving it, and uh, words, gossip in the windows are coming out. I mean, people are talking, right? Social media, mainstream news, legacy news media are talking, getting scared, But for the most part, that group, they have been encased in their bubble for so long that they do not refuse to see the truth because the brainwash is that severe. But whoever is, you know, is fine with facing the facts, A lot of people, because they didn't have the choice, because their wallets, their lives, you know, the reality of things is telling them something else. The discomfort is forcing people to see things clearly, because sometimes when you are in a comfortable situation, when you're feeling the pressure, right, with the blood going through your head, you are forced to face certain realities, right? And it looks like a good chunk of the population have with that hangman, because it's a major arcana and it's happening in in a very bigger scale. I cannot quantify it, but every time that you see a major arcana, shit is big. Eight of Sword. So again, that DNC group, this people who are of that nature, they're still stubborn. They still don't want to see the truth. They're still the mind disease is strong, right? The brainwashing, the matrix, is still have a big hold on them. So they're yeah, that's it for them. They're not um and it can also uh, say that the truth, uh, there's more to be revealed as well, because sometimes, yeah, it might look a little sketchy now, but more is going to be revealed. So that with that Trump, um, uh, Tulsi and RFK, there's more that's going to be revealed about that coalition. Maybe there's other people. I think they've mentioned that other people will join, right? There's going to be more information that's going to come out. So there's still some restraint into maybe the magnitude of that shift, the magnitude of how much people are leaving that party, or something to that effect. So there are unity. So it looks like the Republican, the and the Democrat Party will probably cease to exist, and MAGA is gonna become the party. But it looks like certain steps or certain event needs to occur in order before it gets there with that Four of Wands. Huh? Now that's interesting. I did not see that. I was not expecting that. Wow, that is an interesting read. Guys, thank you so much. The things you learn, right? The things you learn. Okay. Wow. I was not expecting that. The things you learn when you're chatting with the cards. Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave it at that. That's I think that says it all, right? And I think we've seen that for ourselves. There's been patterns. I suggest that you looked at the DNC video that I've done before. That might give you some insight on that. Um, okay. Well, thank you guys for sticking to the end of this video. Please feel free to share, like, and subscribe. I I I appreciate each and every one of you. I am so grateful that you guys are checking me out. Woohoo! Appreciate you. I hope that you are surviving, maintaining. I I want you to be striving, right? Uh, and you know, stay on the positive side of things. And much love and blessings. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.